being established in the self. And what you just mentioned, when you said an absence of the sense of lack, does that mean being established in the self? Is it the same?
Yes. Yes.
It's not remembrance. It is just a simple absence of lack.
Yes, because in the absence, the sense of lack is that which hides the peace. In the absence of the sense of lack, there is peace. And with the peace, and the peace is happy. The peace is happy. Happiness without object is peace, you see. And happiness with objects is joy. So, what they both have in common is happiness. But we have a false notion of happiness because we see only happiness in the form of object, of state. But if we think about it, a state has a beginning and an end, right? And if we think about the implicit distinction we make between happiness and pleasure, we see that implicitly, one of the distinctions between happiness and pleasure is that happiness lasts more than pleasure, right? And the second distinction is that happiness is not as object-dependent as pleasure. You know, pleasure is dependent upon this bottle of champagne or about this being on the beach, or you know, and whereas happiness is more spiritual than pleasure, if you will, right?
Or it's more permanent.
But we still kind of identify it with pleasure somehow. We don't go all the way in our understanding of happiness, because somehow we still tie it to an object, to a situation. And that's why we say, are you happy today? Are you happy now that you have got the toy? You see, so we make happiness something that fluctuates still, that is a state. So in that sense, it's a super pleasure, but it is not yet true happiness. It is still tainted or distorted by objectivity. So we have to go all the way to understand that happiness in its pure state is not object-dependent. And therefore, if it is not object-dependent, what is there left other than consciousness? You know, because either, since it is our human experience, happiness, we have experienced happiness, and since our human experience is comprised solely of perceptions or mentations and consciousness, there is nothing else, right, than perceptions and consciousness. If happiness is not on the left side of the equation, it has to be on the right side, right?
Because sometimes you indicate during meditation an absence of all goals. Think of it as a vacation. And so when there is an absence of a sense of lack, that is all that really matters. You can still have goals.
Yes, but they are not personal.
Exactly, not personal goals.
They are not goals that come from the lack.
Exactly, yes.
They are goals that come from happiness and peace, and that are kind of a celebration of this happiness or peace from which they originate. So they are not problematic goals. In other words, if the goal is not met, no problem.
Because during meditation sometimes I do have impersonal goals. And then I begin to think, Francis has said, no goals. you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have to understand that this meditation, they are kind of experiments themselves. We call it meditation, but they are a lab class on meditation. They are not meditation. They are a lab class on meditation during which you are given suggestions. So for the duration of the exercise, try to be without a goal. You see? And in this way, first you will notice the moments when you have a goal. But of course, if it is a goal which is purely celebratory, or practical even, which is not attached to, which doesn't come from misery, then that's fine. You recognize it's fine. You can even follow these thoughts during the meditation. Why not? You see, because it's free. It's free. However, if it is a thought that comes from, things are terrible in this moment, and I absolutely need to achieve this in order to be happy, then it comes from the wrong place. And it's amazing that the same type of activity, for instance, someone say, okay, I need money. Well, that's a fairly common need. I need money for housing, for food, etc., whatever. I need money. And it can be impersonal or personal. Because as a matter of fact, yes, I need money. But the moment I need money to be happy, that's when that's the beginning of misery lane here. We cannot travel towards happiness. That's the bad news. The good news is that we can travel from happiness. Start from happiness, start from peace and presence, and then have goals, enjoy this game,
For some reason, I don't know, I was thinking, especially when reading books on Ramana Maharishi, where he mentions being established in the self, I was thinking it is a remembrance of our true nature. And sometimes, I used to put some effort in remembering my own nature, but this one is totally effortless.
Right. Yeah. It's effortless. It's much better when it's effortless. You don't need to, when you're a truth lover, you have to recognize that you are a truth lover. And then you let go of this effort, because you'll be reminded, don't worry, don't call us, they say, we'll call you.